Hello, everyone. Mark here, Mark's Max Muscle. It is the wee hours of the morning, and we are beginning with our fan-requested Friday lineup. Quinton Eriya, the New York pro, versus Iain Valliere at the 2020 Mr. Olympia event. Now, there was no front relaxed of Iain Valliere, so I put him in the side relaxed to begin this one, because I do not like to begin with the front double bicep with Iain Valliere, because there's not a whole lot of good pictures out there of that pose for some reason. Pretty vexing, really. So you really can't tell between these two who has the better structure. Obviously, both of these lads, very tall, not exactly sure. Very hard to get that information, these young up-and-coming bodybuilders. But anyway, they're about 6 feet tall. I would wager to say that Quinton is over 6 feet tall. Here's the front double bicep. And this is what I mean, that picture of Iain Valliere. Not the best of quality. There was a much brighter one, but it was very blurry. And conditioning, things of that nature, thrown way out the window. Now, you can definitely see here that Quinton Eriya has that structure advantage. Look at the waistline, much smaller, the V-taper. Of course, those lats of Iain Valliere look like they mean business. Now, if you've ever seen Pumping Iron, now you see Arnold talking to the younger guy, and he tells him, "Now you see what you did there? You hide away when you pose." And he tucks his arm in, and that looks like what Iain Valliere is doing. And then he says, and then the big guy comes right up with his arm, and he opens up, show them what you are, open up. And that is what Quinton Eriya is doing. He is opening up. And in my estimation, you can't tell the conditioning really, but I would give him the pose for sure. Here is the front lat spread. Now, Iain Valliere, he pulls off a good pose, even though he has a fairly wide waist. It's trickery a little bit. It's all about the illusion, right, guys? He's holding his hands in, creating an illusion of a Victorian waistline almost. But hey, he's definitely doing his job. I would pretty much give him this one. A very long torso of Quinton Eriya, which looked good in the front double bi. But here in the front lat, almost takes away from the impact of the lats themselves. Now, if you guys can see the calves of these two, oh my soul. If the conditioning is the same of these guys, Quinton Eriya is getting this one for sure. But, in the front lat, it looks like, at least in the quads, things of that nature, Iain is in better condition. But I guess we'll see. Go to the side, chest development, and now this is turning the way of Iain Valliere. I definitely like Quinton in the front double bi. It was, not close. I think Iain was getting an edge in the front lat. But man, when you seen those calves, am I right? Wow. Do something about that, Iain. But anyway, this pose here, Iain has it. Look at the conditioning difference. The glutes, the hamstrings, everything. It looks like a world of difference of conditioning. Side tricep. And this is about the same thing, guys. Iain Valliere, if he picked up, he needs to work on the calves. I have to say, it is a definite elephant in the room. You need to mention it. In particular, in a matchup with Quinton Eriya. And he'd be the last person that I would ask for advice, Quinton. He obviously, with calves like that, there's no way that he worked out to get those. Those are genetics plus, hard, diligent training. But those have to be, attested to the genetics of this man. So, in my estimation, even though he has those tiny calves, I would give it to Iain Valliere so far. Heading into the back shots. Now, Iain Valliere, he has a different type of conditioning. He doesn't have what you would call striated glutes. As Lee Priest would say, who cares about those? But he has a very hard, grainy look about him, as you can see, and people say that. If you see him live on stage, you can see what they mean. But I don't care, live on stage or in pictures, the calves, guys. If I was a judge, I'd probably give him this shot just due to the overwhelming conditioning. But man, oh man, would he get a tongue lashing about those calves. Go to the rear double bi. And I think Iain maximizes the size of his back, which I don't think is the hugest back in the world. needs to develop some lower lat insertions, I guess. And Quinton Eriya, a nice, clean, neat shot, but again, on a smaller frame. We're used to seeing guys like Phil Heath, Big Rammy. You know, those are seasoned pros. They're older, and they develop thicker backs, I think, as you get older. So, you know, these guys definitely a long way from their 50s, for sure. But again, guys, those calves, he should be horsewhipped, should Iain Valliere, for not training them, or I don't know what's going on. Everybody has an excuse of why they can't grow calves. But how about you train them every day? Go to the ab and thigh pose. And Iain Valliere, as conditioned as he is in all of the poses, I mean, thin skin, things of that nature, if you're a judge, you're definitely going to be noticing that. As good as he is, he's downright losing flat out in several poses to Quinton Eriya, just due to the structure. Look at the V-taper on Quinton. Not to mention that drawn-out six-pack look. Iain Valliere, he's long way away from getting that, and it's a genetic thing. He has the abs of a Gunther Schlerkamp. Same thing. Most of us, you know, we can't pull off a perfect ab and thigh like Quinton Eriya. Not to mention from the front, guys, that thin skin, things of that nature that you can see from the side and from the rear, kind of taken out of the equation. So Quinton, you know, he probably is winning most of, if not all of the front shots. Finish this one off with the most muscular. And I gotta say, I have to be honest, Iain Valliere looks tremendous. He looks tremendous. He does have a much wider waist, as we do realize. But then again, look at the thin skin, things of that nature. And he is huge. He's huge. He lacks some width in the clavicle area, but I think he really did his homework for the Olympia guys. And he did place ahead of quite a few dudes that did have a structure advantage and a calf advantage. Oh my goodness. He's standing on little stilts. He looks like a little cartoon character. Like one of them big birds. The biggest bird in the world. I'll think of the name in a second. But anyway, guys, that's... Ostrich. Ostrich. He's a big ostrich. And he's from Canada, too. I think they do have ostriches in Canada, mate. I do believe. Just joking. I'm from Canada. Anyway, guys, this is your winner. And I should probably be horsewhipped. Those calves, they need to do something, and I wouldn't be so hard on Iain Valliere, but he did go out and he said that Kai Green's physique was funny. And I'm sure he would say, relax, it was just a stupid interview. Hey, us bodybuilding nerds, we're like Trekkies, you know, Star Trek fans. We're Trekkies. Anything that goes down in bodybuilding, hey, you call Kai Green's physique funny, and you got a somewhat funny-looking physique on your own there. Valliere, he's Canadian. He could come into my house and he would kick my derriere. But anyway, he'll never find me. I live in the middle of the woods. That's why I'm safe. Anyway, guys, hit thumbs up on the video. I'm sure most of you will say Iain Valliere lost this one. He has no calves. And Quinton Eriya, on the other hand, has some of the best, biggest calves I've ever seen. Mind-blowing. Have a great day, guys.